Okay, so since my last video, when I was up in the Simien Mountains, we went across to Lalibela. And there, of course, we spent time looking at the incredible rock churches. Now, these rock churches are just extraordinary. I mean, of course, St. George's is the one that everyone thinks of because it's the very pinnacle of rock carved churches. Beautiful Greek cross, immaculately carved right out of the rock. But what really always gets me is the scale when you get inside. It's actually really hard to get your head around the fact that these buildings are carved out of a single piece of rock. Anyway, we did that, and then we went on to do a 2-day Tesfa community trek. This was a stunning walk. We went from Makwet Mariam, which is one of the most spectacular locations for a camp you'll ever find anywhere. We walked then for 7 hours the next day to Wajela, which is another beautifully located camp on the other side of the escarpment. The community look after you on this trip and they make the money out of it. So it's a really good community-based tourism project, which Wild Frontiers is proud to use. From there, we then drove across to Bahadar and took a boat across Lake Tana to the Zagwe Peninsula, which is where I am now. This beautiful and very famous church with its gorgeous murals inside behind me. So tomorrow we fly back to Addis, and from there I fly on to Tanzania. What are my impressions? Well, from a security standpoint, I have no issues at all. The peace deal between the Tigrayans and the main government in Addis was signed in November. About a month later, the British Foreign Office and the US State Department lifted their advice against travel to most of the country. So from a security standpoint, there's no issues at all. We have had no problems whatsoever traveling around. The only thing I would say is that the country has been closed pretty much for 3 years. That means all the hotels have been closed. And with that, they're going to need some time to kind of get their service levels back up to scratch. Guides haven't been practicing their English as much as they would normally do. So that'll take a bit of time to brush up and start knocking the rust off their English. Ethiopian Airlines aren't flying as many flights around the northern circuit as they used to. Used to be incredibly easy. You could fly from Addis to Gonda, Gonda to Lalibela, Lalibela to Axum, back down to Bahadar. You could do any number of routes, probably 2 or 3 times a day. At the moment, they're much more sporadic, so you have to either work out your routing around the particular flights, or of course you can drive. And lastly, we felt that on the community walk, some of the paths were a little bit damaged, and it'll take them time to get those back up to a really good standard. But above all, the 10 days we spent in Ethiopia have been as fabulous as I remember this country to be. And I've been coming here since, 1991 was 1992 was my first trip here, back on my motorbike 30 odd years ago. It's a fantastic country. It deserves tourism. It's got so much to offer. And I very much hope that tourism will start again in earnest, probably this October. Bye for now.